we used to freak off, when we were so in love, there were no questions asked. It felt right. Like it literally made sense for the next step in our sex life together.
Text messages and email chains and BlackBerry messages from 2007, from 2009, where Cassie is confessing her love to Diddy, or I'm a very lucky woman, I miss you, and I'd fly wherever you need me, I love you. And then you see Diddy respond, I love you so much, it makes me cry. And then Cassie writing back, you hungry papa. But I'm thinking, just from my perspective, that around those time frames, she was still relatively young. For the most part, she was in her early 20s.
The first week of Cassie's lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs has already sent shockwaves through the music industry. This case isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about the disturbing revelations Cassie has brought to light. Once known for her rise to fame as a singer and model during a highly publicized relationship with Diddy, Cassie has now shared graphic details of what she describes as years of control, intimidation, and deeply unsettling behavior. Among the most disturbing claims is a practice she referred to as freak-offs, allegedly orchestrated events in which she was forced to engage in sexual acts with other individuals at Diddy's insistence. These events, according to Cassie, were not isolated, but part of a regular pattern designed to break down her autonomy and sense of self. The term freak-off has become central to the case because it illustrates a broader, more troubling picture of power being used to dehumanize and dominate. Cassie's legal team didn't rely on vague accusations. They presented detailed accounts and specific incidents from her decade-long relationship with Diddy. She described the freak-offs as just one part of a larger cycle of manipulation, fear, and compliance that kept her trapped. Her lawsuit has opened a floodgate of conversation around how power is wielded in the entertainment world, raising critical questions about how influence and celebrity can be used to silence and exploit. Diddy's reaction to the lawsuit suggests deep concern about what might be uncovered next. The implications of these allegations go far beyond personal scandal. They threaten to unravel a reputation built over decades. For years, Diddy has been seen as a larger-than-life mogul, a symbol of success in the music and business world. But Cassie's account challenges that image, hinting at a darker reality behind the glitz and fame. Experts on celebrity culture and power dynamics have already called this case a potential turning point, a watershed moment that may finally push for more accountability in both Hollywood and the music industry. As the trial continues, Cassie's testimony is being closely watched by advocates, fans, and insiders alike. Her courage to confront someone as powerful as Diddy is being recognized as a pivotal moment, one that could inspire others to come forward and demand justice. Meanwhile, Diddy's next moves will be critical, as they could indicate just how much he stands to lose. With Cassie's legal team promising more evidence, witnesses, and documentation, the battle is far from over. 1 week in, it's already clear. The stakes could be higher, and the fallout from this lawsuit could reshape the industry's future.
Cassie has been very forthcoming in answering these questions. She's showing she is asking for a freak off, or she's, asking, about just more intimate details from her relationship with him. Because to your point, Jesse, a lot of this stuff, some of these messages that we did see in court, Cassie say, "Pop, I really miss you," and Diddy responding in these messages, "Me too, baby. Damn, I can't wait until I see you." You see a 2010 message where Cassie says, "So you hung up. It's like I need to have something written out to say to you with no breathing room or you'll get mad at me. I haven't talked to you at all. I know you have 3 minutes," because, around this time he is running a bunch of businesses. He's going to board meetings. He's traveling across the country. But it seems like, Cassie, from her point of view, just by reading these messages, that you could kind of tell that she was just somebody, at least from my perspective, somebody that was young and in love and just wanted her boyfriend around her that time.
She wrote to Combs in an email, "In order for me to be more open with the things we do in bed, I need to feel safe, like home, like this is my husband, and this is the only man that will ever have this aggressive sexual side of me. When we used to freak off, when we were so in love, there were no questions asked. It felt right, like it literally made sense for the next step in our sex life."
When powerful people feel threatened, their first instinct is often to take control, and Diddy's actions since the beginning of the trial suggest just how much he has to lose. In the wake of Cassie's bombshell allegations, insiders claim he's pulling every string possible to silence her and regain control of the narrative. Yet, with every calculated move, Diddy appears increasingly desperate. Reports indicate that his legal team responded swiftly, applying pressure behind the scenes through possible private negotiations and legal threats. Legal experts believe the initial strategy was to push Cassie toward a quiet settlement, a move that would halt any further revelations, avoid public testimony, and, most critically for Diddy, keep the case out of a courtroom filled with media scrutiny. This rush to keep things quiet raises an unsettling question. What else is Diddy allegedly trying to hide? Alongside legal pressure, his team is reportedly engaging in aggressive damage control, leaning into a tactic known in PR circles as strategic silence. The idea is simple. Don't address the allegations directly, avoid feeding the media cycle, and wait for the public to shift its focus to another controversy. But this time, the silence isn't working. Instead of fading, the story is gaining momentum, and Diddy's refusal to speak is being interpreted not as caution, but as fear and calculation. What's also emerged are claims about Diddy's long-standing use of non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, as a method to keep damaging stories from surfacing. Former associates allege that NDAs were routinely used to silence anyone who got too close, ensuring that if they couldn't speak, they couldn't expose the truth. These agreements reportedly created a culture of fear, where people were too intimidated to come forward. But Cassie is no longer afraid. Despite what many suspect were earlier attempts to keep her silent, she has broken through that barrier and is telling her story. This isn't a new playbook. It mirrors the tactics used by other powerful figures, like Harvey Weinstein, who used NDAs, legal intimidation, and hush money to bury allegations for years. While it worked for a time, once the truth emerged, the backlash was swift and devastating. Diddy's approach seems eerily similar, and just as likely to backfire. Suppression doesn't build public trust, it invites suspicion. The public is beginning to ask tough questions. Why would someone with Diddy's wealth and influence go to such lengths to silence a single woman's voice? What could be so damaging that he might risk his legacy to keep it hidden? Cassie's refusal to back down is striking. Despite the reported pressure and efforts to discredit her, she continues to push forward with her case, a sign, many believe, that she possesses even more evidence. If she does, and that information becomes public, Diddy's efforts to suppress it won't just look desperate, they'll be exposed as futile. His every move now appears to be driven by self-preservation. But Cassie's resolve is setting off something much bigger than one legal battle. Her courage is resonating beyond the courtroom, sparking broader conversations about power, intimidation, and accountability in the entertainment industry. So the stakes are higher than ever. The questions remain. How far will Diddy go to keep his secrets buried? And how much is Cassie willing to risk to bring the truth to light? One thing is clear. Her fight against silence and intimidation is only just beginning.
The defense attorney essentially using these text messages to say to her, well, listen, you again were a willing participant, you continue this relationship with him. And the defense is highlighting that through those text messages and through the conversations Ms. Ventura has been having. But it also goes both ways, because also in those text messages, which there are some ones for the prosecution here, she discusses how he has been physically violent towards her. They discuss the freak-offs and a number of other things that really go to show that there was some sort of physical violence within the relationship, threats of force and things like that, which the government essentially has to prove.
I have felt profound anger that she has been subjected to sitting in front of a person who tried to break her. So, to him and all of those who helped him along the way, please know this: you did not. Over the past 5 days, the world has gotten to witness the strength and bravery of my wife, freeing herself of her past. There has been speculation online surrounding how it must feel for me to sit there and listen to my wife's testimony. I have felt so many things sitting there. I have felt tremendous pride and overwhelming love for Cassie. I have felt profound anger that she has been subjected to sitting in front of a person who tried to break her. So, to him and all of those who helped him along the way, please know this: you did not. You did not break her spirit nor her smile that lights up every room. You did not break the souls of a mother who gives the best hugs and plays the silliest games with our little girls. You did not break the woman who has made me a better man. This week has been extremely challenging, but also remarkably empowering and healing for me. I hope that my testimony has given strength and a voice to other survivors and can help others who have suffered to speak up and also heal from abuse and fear. For me, the more I heal, the more I can remember. And the more I can remember, the more I will never.
Cassie's fight isn't just about survival. It's about defiance. While many in her position might have quietly accepted a settlement or backed down under the weight of overwhelming pressure, Cassie is doing the opposite. She's standing firm, refusing to be silenced, and in doing so, she's displaying a rare and powerful form of courage. Her decision to confront someone as influential as Diddy, and to do so publicly, is sending shockwaves far beyond this case. For years, Diddy has been seen as untouchable, a hip-hop mogul who built an empire and maintained a tight grip on his public image. But Cassie is proving that fear doesn't always win. Her determination is made even more powerful by the reported intimidation she continues to face, from legal tactics to smear attempts in the public eye. Despite it all, she hasn't faltered, and her refusal to stay silent is sending a message that resonates throughout an industry where silence has long been the norm. Cassie isn't following the unspoken rules often expected of those who challenge entertainment elites. She's rewriting them. By exposing the darkest aspects of her experiences with power dynamics, she's become a symbol of resistance. But the reality is that this fight comes at enormous personal and professional cost. Legal battles like this aren't confined to the courtroom. They bring relentless public scrutiny and media pressure. In Hollywood, going up against someone with Diddy's influence can be seen as career suicide. There are likely industry doors that will now close quietly behind her, and those risks highlight just how much she's willing to lose for the truth. Still, she presses forward, not out of revenge or bravado, but because the fight clearly means something deeper to her. Her actions are creating ripples throughout the entertainment world. Insider conversations are reportedly shifting as a result of her bravery, and some survivors are now coming forward, inspired by her example, though many still fear the cost of going public. The entertainment industry has long thrived on a culture of silence. You stay quiet, we'll take care of you. But Cassie's case is cracking that unspoken agreement. People, especially younger artists and creators, are watching closely. Her stand for accountability is seen as groundbreaking in a space that has historically protected its elites. This case doesn't just have consequences for Diddy. It could set a precedent for how the industry handles powerful individuals who abuse their influence. Beyond the courtroom, the court of public opinion is already weighing in, and it's often just as powerful. When celebrities are accused of abuse or exploitation, it forces society to confront how much we're willing to ignore in exchange for entertainment. Cassie's refusal to back down could reshape those conversations. If she succeeds, it won't just be about justice in one lawsuit. It could signal a broader cultural reckoning. Adding to the tension, legal insiders suggest Cassie's team may still be holding back key evidence, emails, messages, witness testimonies, that could deal even more damage to Diddy's already crumbling image. Her apparent confidence suggests that more revelations could be on the way. Ultimately, Cassie's battle isn't just for herself, it's a message to survivors everywhere. No matter how powerful someone may seem, their ability to control the narrative can be broken. Her bold stance is proving that the untouchable personas of Hollywood aren't as bulletproof as they appear. And if Cassie succeeds, the precedent she sets could go far beyond this single case. This is a battle against a system that has long relied on silence and intimidation to maintain power. And with every step she takes, Diddy's downfall doesn't just seem possible, it feels increasingly inevitable. The question now is, what happens if this trial truly shatters the image he spent decades building? The fallout could redefine his legacy and reshape the entire industry in the process.
The defense did not have as hard of a job this week as I thought they would.
Yeah. And you're right to point out that the onus is on the prosecutors. The defense can simply stand up and have nothing to say. It's totally up to the prosecutor. So let's move to that side of the courtroom. I had a judge on earlier this morning who said that she doesn't see a racketeering conviction. I reminded her we're a week into an 8-week trial, so there's more to come. But what do you see as it relates to that specific charge and what we heard from the Ventura testimony and just the earliest part of Don Richard's testimony?
Right, and I've got to agree with that judge. What I said, I spoke with your dear colleague Laura earlier in the week, and I said, I don't don't see it yet. That doesn't mean we won't see it, but because Ms. Ventura has been promoted as the star witness, I don't think it's established there. And here's why. I think that there's a good bit of time being spent on domestic abuse. And while the domestic abuse is hideous, it is horrible, there's no justifying it, he's not charged with it, Victor. So they're using it in order to show that there was this environment of coercion, but there's several things that Ms. Ventura said that lean the other way. So whether it was the initial questioning where she said the reason why she started doing the freak-offs was because she loved him, whether it was her testimony that she started to view it really was like a job, that she was the person who was making the arrangements, she was the person who was contacting the travel agent for the escorts, she was the person who was selecting the different escorts based on certain parameters. None of that testimony necessarily goes to what the prosecution is hoping to prove. But here's the other thing I'll point out. The jury may be looking at Ms. Ventura as a co-conspirator, as a willing participant in a criminal enterprise. That doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't a criminal enterprise. It just means to me that the prosecution is going a long way to try to prove that Ms. Ventura was forced into an action that I think they can get their proof on where Mr. Combs is concerned, whether Ms. Ventura was involved by force or whether she was involved by choice. It would still be a crime if they can use the rest of the time they have in this trial to show that the racketeering and the sex trafficking actually exists.
What happens when an empire built on power and influence begins to crumble? That might be the question keeping Diddy awake at night. Cassie's lawsuit isn't just about shocking allegations. It's about the potential to dismantle a carefully curated public image that has taken decades to build. Once hailed as a music mogul and cultural icon, Diddy is now facing serious scrutiny that threatens the very foundation of his career and reputation. As the trial moves forward, the fallout is becoming increasingly clear. For years, Diddy projected an image of invincibility. He wasn't just a rapper or producer. He was a brand, one that spanned music, fashion, liquor, media ventures, and luxury partnerships. He expertly positioned himself as one of the most powerful and influential figures in entertainment. But now, those same partnerships and brand affiliations may be at risk. Allegations like the ones Cassie has presented could unravel everything he's built, especially in an industry where clean reputations are crucial. According to insider reports, some companies tied to Diddy's business empire are already quietly distancing themselves, watching closely to see how the legal situation unfolds. Though it's still early to assess the full impact, industry experts suggest that high-profile deals may begin to vanish behind closed doors if the controversy continues to gain traction. This isn't new in the world of celebrity culture. We've seen it happen before. R. Kelly, for instance, managed to keep his career afloat for years despite numerous allegations and lawsuits. But once public pressure mounted and accountability was demanded, his music was pulled from streaming platforms, venues stopped booking him, and longtime collaborators severed ties. Similarly, Harvey Weinstein went from a Hollywood powerhouse to a disgraced pariah almost overnight. His name was erased from projects, and his entire legacy imploded under the weight of public and legal condemnation. These cases demonstrate a clear pattern. Once public opinion turns, the financial and professional collapse can be swift and unforgiving. Diddy could be next. With each passing week, the pressure intensifies, and social media is playing a major role in shaping public perception. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok have amplified Cassie's voice beyond the courtroom, turning her case into a viral narrative. Every new revelation becomes a trending topic, dissected by millions, many of whom are openly debating Diddy's guilt or innocence. In today's digital age, high-profile trials don't just unfold in court. They play out in real time across social media, where hashtags and viral commentary have the power to sway public sentiment. That public sentiment matters, not just for Diddy's personal image, but for his business as well. As backlash grows, he risks becoming increasingly isolated from fans and collaborators, the very people who helped him build his empire. What makes this moment especially precarious is that Cassie's allegations strike at the heart of Diddy's identity as a tastemaker and trendsetter. If the tide continues to turn against him, the empire he so carefully constructed could collapse under the weight of the very power and influence that once sustained it.